I'm Mel Stewart, and this is SwimSwam Podcast. Joining me today is Coleman Hodges, SwimSwam's head of production and the guy on deck at all your swimming meets. And today we have a very, very, very special guest, a man I love, 2016 U.S. Olympic men's team head coach, Arizona State Sun Devils head coach, Bob Bowman.
Hey, guys.
You're supposed to react and be like, Mel, I love you. Yes! You're my favorite swimmer of all time. Michael Phelps is number 2. You're number 1.
You're up there. You are up there.
So this is not about me, but where am I on your list? Am I number? I'm at least number 3, 4, 5. Do I make the top 10?
You're top 10. You're definitely top 10.
All right. Well, you're a sweetheart for coming on, and I'm just going to address the elephant in the room. Got a message from you on Sunday, and some news that was coming out, important news, and you announced that for the 2021 season that you were going to redshirt the men's and women's program. Mm-hmm. And we reported, and our site nearly broke. You nearly broke our site from the traffic. So we just wanted to call to say thank you, Bob, for nearly breaking our site.
Well, you're welcome. But every time I log on now, I only see myself the first thing. So it's okay now. You can start rotating this other stuff.
This is the biggest news going right now in college swimming, and it's because we're in the middle of our pandemic. Yeah. I think that the infection rate, the positive test rate in Arizona, the last time I saw it roughly is 164,000. Yeah. So Arizona, Texas, Florida, California, a lot of us are still going through it. We're experiencing not the same phase as New York and the surrounding areas, but we're going through a similar situation. I think we're getting a little bit better handle on it, but this is a very tough time. So everybody is trying to make the right decisions about their future going forward. And so and I'm going to keep talking. So here in swimming, I have mixed emotions about this because in swimming, college is, I'm a co-founder of SwimSwam. It's part of our business, and everybody's hanging on to hope for a college season. And correct me if I'm wrong, but you might be the first Power 5 team to make an announcement that you're not going to participate in any portion of the season going forward. Is that correct?
That's correct.
That is correct. So I was in one part. So I don't want to make too light of this, but the first thing that came out of my mind when you said, "Yeah, I'll come on the podcast, guys," was we're going to read mean comments to you and let you respond. But the comments weren't that mean. The comment. One of them.
They're always mean about me. It doesn't matter. I can give $1 million to charity. They'll complain about it.
When you're Bob Bowman, yeah, and when you have such a huge piece of swim history, I think you're aware of, we don't taste fame, but I think you've tasted fame in a way and experienced in a way that it's wonderful and beautiful, but at the same time, it has an other side too.
For sure, yeah.
And
I'm a big boy. I can play the game. I know what comes with the territory.
So, but one of the comments was interesting, and and it was a question, and I wrote this question down, and then I saw this comment, and I'm like, it's the same question. I'm like, is Bob Bowman playing chess and everyone else playing checkers? And my question was, Bob, do you have a crystal ball, and do you know what's going to happen this fall and next spring?
I don't, but I do know what swim meets are like, and I know how they have to be run. And I don't know how they fit into any kind of coronavirus guidelines that we currently have or are likely to have. That's just my personal opinion. I have no other information besides that. But the other driving force behind this was, we were very lucky in the standpoint we got through our conference meet last year. But there's a whole class of people that didn't have an NC2As, and they weren't offered another year of eligibility. So it's really unacceptable for me to have that happen again.
Just for nuts and bolts, just so we can get it right off the top of the show. If anyone redshirted this past year, how can they do it again this year? It's a simple question.
Well, no, it's a very simple question. Well, on the one hand, you might have somebody that was never in college before, so their clock didn't start until they come this year. So that's one. The other one is more difficult. And, I just feel like in the current environment, and I was advised that in the current environment, I feel like there'll be leeway on that.
Understood. So you're like, this is a historic moment. This hasn't happened in 100 years.
Exactly.
And we are in a very unique situation. I'm asking dumb questions because some of our readers ask questions and they just jump out at you.
Yeah. Right.
But and I laugh, and I shouldn't laugh. I have a different perspective than they do. But someone said, Bob Bowman, he just cares about pro swimmers, and this is just another chance for him to play on the pro side for a year and not have to focus on college swimming. And I don't believe that, but I would like to hear how you would respond to it.
For sure. There's no question that saving these guys for another year makes our team so much better. And, I'm not one of these people that cares too much about a psych sheet, but our men were 7th going into NC2As, and we weren't going to be a lot worse. And that's pretty much a historic level for ASU. We still need to move up, but we'll be way better than that team when we come back. Much better.
I'm going to ask all the dumb questions, and then someone smarter will come in and ask the smart questions, being Coleman Hodges.
Got it.
Just off the top of my head, out of curiosity, it's. I have to say, I thought you get crucified in the comments. I didn't look at them until about 2 hours ago because I don't. I think there's something where you're inside the circle. Somebody. There's certain knowledge you have, and they don't necessarily have it.
Yeah.
But a lot of people. There were a lot of positive comments. But in terms of just cost with an athletic department, this is going to decrease the footprint, the cost for the year. And it's is that something, was the athletic department like, this is a smart move? Was that part of their, were they a part of this decision and their support?
Oh, they were absolutely a part of this decision. This decision was vetted by, my athletic director, Ray Anderson, is the first person I broached with this because I thought he could tell me, okay, that's absurd, no way, and then I just wouldn't pursue it. But he said, that makes some sense. And then we got together the leadership team of Sun Devil Athletic. Then the Pac-12 signed in on it. Then university president. So there was a full vetting of what we're doing here. So it wasn't just me kind of saying, oh, yeah, we're going to do this. And
I have a bunch of my Olympic teammates. Rock Santos is now calling me, and I guarantee you, my teammate from 1992, I guarantee you he's calling me to talk about this. So since Sunday, I haven't been able to get anything done.
Sorry about that.
Nothing's gotten done because everybody wants to talk about Bob Bowman.
Oh, geez. Well, I will say, to answer the rest of your question, there's a substantial operational savings, right, for not traveling to these meets and some, tech suits or whatever. There's some savings, and that is just a plus. That was never in the factors of why we thought we should do this. But in the end, if you say, and it'll save us X amount of dollars, it certainly isn't a bad thing this year or in this climate.
I have 2 more dumb questions, Coleman. I'll stop hogging Bob. Promise it. So it's my opinion from looking on the outside in, and this is from somebody who really enjoyed collegiate swimming, but my life was engineered around the Olympic Games.
Yeah,
I loved college swimming, but there are certain coaches and they coach a certain way, and from my experience and from what I've witnessed, NC2A swimming is it's the best thing going. It's fast. Athletes come in, they perform there. And you're really focused on a short season and getting big boys and big. I don't want to say that. Our women's team ready for scoring points, oftentimes in shorter races. And it seems to me that if you're training in the Olympic cycle, you're training for a 50-meter pool. It's a different animal. Mm-hmm. And it seems to me that you're a coach who respects the Olympic cycle and training at that level, and that maybe you're not focused as much on. I know you do both, but I know you're maybe not as focused on that short schedule. But this falls in with your philosophy. I've bungled this question, screwed it up. I'll say it another way. Me and all the swim nerds at SwimSwam got together, and everyone went, Bob believes in hard work. So his opinion is hard work for another year makes sense because that's the way you do it for the Olympics.
Well,
how do you respond to that?
I believe in work. And you see this pool behind me? We haven't been in there since March 20th. Still not today. I get to look at it. So I haven't coached a practice except for Boomer and Beckett since March 20th. Those are good though. But, so it's going to take a while for people to get back into the rhythm and be able to kind of get back where it is. I feel like we're just trying to help people get better. So any way we can do that, we want to do it.
I wouldn't want to be swimming for you at this point in my career or anybody else. I think that this is what I predict when they get back in the pool. Pain.
It'll be delivered in a very disciplined and build up of a way.
Compassionate way.
Yes, in a passionate way.
That's right. Everyone's got to be compassionate. Okay, so here's the last obvious dumb question.
Yeah.
And I touched on it in the beginning. This might upset people, but I'm going to say it anyway. College swimming is almost like college football. It's almost like a religion in our world. And in the community, in the swimming family, college swimming is it's almost like a religion.
Mm-hmm.
So when people saw this announcement, I think a lot of people felt like, oh, this is all of the other athletic departments are going to look at this and they might follow suit. And I think that was an emotional down.
Sure.
I know I know you got to worry about your team and your family and what you're doing, but did that weigh on you at all?
No, not at all. Because it's the best thing for our student athletes. And that's what I get paid to do. Take care of the Sun Devils. And quite frankly, we're in a unique situation to allow this to happen. You guys have widely publicized our diving. We're in a situation where there are no scholarship divers on the team this year. There aren't any next year for a number of reasons, but there just aren't. And that'll make some money available that allows us to kind of carry through these next couple of years and recruit.
I love that answer. There are people that I don't agree with always. And I'm not saying I don't agree with you, but sometimes great leaders make hard choices. And they know they're making hard choices, and they know that sometimes they're not going to be the most popular.
Yeah.
I figured that that the response would be very, very, very negative. And I'm surprised at how sober and honest people have been in their reactions to this. And it's going to be interesting to see what happens in the future. Coleman, if you have a question you would like to come in with, I'm going to go back to researching the comments.
Well, so you talked about, the vetting process and how many people this decision went through. At what point did you guys sit down with the athletes and how do you feel like they, what was their say? Did they get a vote? What was their response to this decision?
No, there wasn't really a vote.
Mm-hmm.
And it's their option if they want to, go 4 years, go 5 years. They can do whatever they want. We support them either way. We realize there's some families that are not going to want to do that. And we completely are on board with that. What we were clear about is we do not feel comfortable about putting kids on a plane to fly somewhere in the next 4 months. Everybody should have an option about what they want to do in terms of coming to Tempe, Arizona in the next 4 months. So if they want to stay home and train, we have people in very good situations elsewhere. They're better off there than they are coming here right now. Some people might have safety concerns about COVID-19 and coming back to campus where they might stay home. So what we did was effectively put that out front, and that's our guiding principle. And this is what we're going to do. We're not going to compete in these college meets. And if you want to have another year, you can have it. If not, you don't have to. But for right now, at least we somebody asked me the other day, I was like, this has been months now where we have these Zoom meetings, and I get asked questions, and the answer to every question is, I don't know. Mm-hmm. And we've kind of reached a point now with school starting in a month where we can't just be, I don't know all the time. So now we know what we're not going to do, which is at least something, right? We have a direction, and I think that was important for everybody, that we were really needing that.
Yeah. Yeah. So speaking of which, let's give this whole decision a little more context. Do you guys have, Are students coming back to campus? Are athletes coming back to campus? Do you know if and when you're going to be able to use your facilities again?
I don't know if I know we will be able to use our facilities. I don't know when. Athletes are coming back to campus. The majority are coming back. They're going to come to campus, and that's completely fine. So that's where we are on that. Yeah, some are not, but very few are not.
And are academics, is school starting pretty much as normal? Do you guys have I've heard a lot of half virtual, half hybrid of virtual and in person. What's ASU's plan?
I think that's what we have.
Okay.
And our student athletes can access a thing called, ASU is sort of the pioneer in online education, right? So we have all kinds of platforms. But we have a thing called ASU Sync, which means you're basically taking a live course, but it's virtual. You're on your screen. The teacher's teaching, you have to be there at 9 o'clock. There are notes. Everything is happening like it might in a live class. And, I think that's going to be really invaluable for people that have to quarantine, have to isolate. So all those options are available. And there are some in-person classes. A lot of people with labs, they're running the labs in person here. So there's some things you just can't do online, right? You need the hands-on stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a combination.
I'm reading through the comments, and I am amazed at people really did respond to this. This made sense to them. And maybe I'm just too much of a wimp to be somebody who I would have trouble making a decision like this. I don't know. You know what? That's not true. If it's when you're with your team and you're making the choices in the interest of your team and their future, it's this does make sense. It's in terms of time, in terms of athletes getting back in the pool.
Mm-hmm.
How long is it going to take? This is an obvious question. How long is it going to take for people to starting to feel like they have some sort of a base to really go in from fourth to fifth gear?
Next summer.
Do you think it'll take until next summer?
It's going to take a while. Depends on what they've been doing. But, I always have this thing that Michael calls the Bowman rule, right? It's 2 for 1. For every day you miss, it takes 2 days to get back to where you were before the day you missed. So it's a 3-day process. Multiply that by months. Then multiply it by 4 months. It's a year to get back to where you were last spring. So, and it's been mitigated by people training on their own and doing all these other things. So it's not exactly that, but it's going to take a while. And I just want to have the ability to build into whatever we're doing under whatever guidelines we have. And if somebody comes in and tests positive and the whole pod has to go for 14 days, it's a different story if you don't have any meets versus there's one coming up in 6 weeks. You know what I mean? So I think or maybe that happens the week before you go to Pac-12s when you do your final test. Does the whole team get to go or not go?
Same situation. I mean, I'm really focused.
Yeah.
I don't even want to voice it out loud. I'm really hoping there's an Olympics next year.
Well, for sure.
And it's so I look at it through both lenses. Someone tests positive, and I didn't test positive, but my buddy tested positive, my friend tested positive, and I'm out. That seems catastrophic. So you're in the same situation, even prepping for the Olympic cycle. That's got to be key. That's got to keep you up at night.
Exactly. Well, it doesn't keep me up at night because there's nothing I can do about it. But I can learn how to navigate through it, and this is what we're doing. Exactly what we're talking about today is our plan to deal with it, instead of just kind of wait and see what happens.
Did you ask me about Mike Behrman's breaststroke medicine ball workout? Did you say you used that, or was that someone else?
Yeah, a ton, yeah.
You did? Okay, I thought that was you. I'm sorry. We've been doing a lot of podcasts.
No, I got it.
Yes, yeah. Of course I remember.
Content. You need that content.
So just so you know, I called him and I said, hey, maybe Bob needs you for your medicine ball workout. And he's like, I'm out of swimming. I love swimming, but it's only for fun now. My kids swimming, but that's not happening. I just wanted to give you that update. We've talked in this the last few weeks.
Yeah, that was a big part of our dry land going into 2004. Haven't used it a lot since. Used parts of it, right? Kind of parts of it.
Well, I didn't know what you're pulling out of your hat, and during.
I bring stuff back. It's only a matter of time. All this stuff is cyclical, right?
I didn't know what you were bringing back out, but you got to work on it. I just want to check in. I just really want to return to my normal life, and stop fielding questions about you, because I have no idea what you're thinking.
Right.
I mean, I kind of do, but I want to hear it from you directly. My favorite part of this podcast so far was, no, I don't care. I'm making the decisions based on the information I have, which makes you respect you as a leader. One of the funny comments, I do have to say this, was that someone said this is a David Marsh move, just caring about the Olympics. I'm like, no.
I think David cared about NC2A swimming a little bit. If I would think I think he kind of did, if I remember correctly.
Another thing was people responding about, wow, they're going to have to do another year at school. And
you're going to get to do another year of school.
I do.
A lot of them can do a graduate degree in that time.
Yeah, I'm
welcome.
Or take it easy, and
or spread it out. It's their choice. So it makes some sense. Think about it this way, and I know I'll guarantee you some comments off of this podcast. Okay, in my mind, our 400 free relay returns everybody. We were third seeded last time. 2 of those guys are seniors. I'd rather give them another year and know they're going to be back, and some other people, who are pretty formidable in those events, than just kind of take my chances that they lose another season. So that's what this does.
My favorite comments was that you're gonna have a terrible year this next year. Bob Bowman's gonna blow it through the Olympic year. And it's like, it's going to be bad. Like, it'll just be bad for you guys in 21, 22. Okay. And that might be one of my most favorite comments. How do you feel about that, Bob?
People say a lot of stuff. At the end of the day, the scoreboard will tell us, right? Scoreboard doesn't lie. So, I've blown it many times, but I've gotten it right a few times too. So I'm pretty, I'll go with that. So
that leads interesting question. How is your role this year going to look different? Just, from what today, from making this decision, how will being the head coach of ASU swimming and diving be different if you're not going to competitions? Is that going to change a lot logistically for you?
Well, it will continue my streak of not being on an airplane for a while, which is crazy. I just thought, I'm going on 5 months without flying somewhere. I've had weeks where I flew 5 or 6 times in a week, and I never go more than 2 weeks, right?
So what, 2 or 3 decades?
Yeah, for a long time. So that'll be different. But, other than that, I'm still going to be recruiting and doing the other things we do. It's just more like this, right? It's in this format.
I'm sorry to jump in here. I'm back to, it's Mel Stewart again, and I'm going to ask the dumb questions. Everybody's asking over and over. So do you have any intention of having a diving program in the future?
Absolutely. No question. And we'll have it sooner than you think. It just happened. Our coach retired. We don't have any divers on the team. You can research how that happens. But anyway, we're hiring a diving coach. Right now, it's not the best time to do any of that, is it? No. So probably by the first of the year, we'll look at doing that, and we'll have somebody here, and we'll move forward with it. But we absolutely are going to have diving.
And a lot of other people are speculating that Bob Bowman just, he's gonna coach a few more years and he's gonna be out. He doesn't want to be there a while. He doesn't want to keep building the team. I know it's a dumb question, but I do want your response.
No. Well,
you have to respond to that.
They just extended my contract. I'm here till 2024 at least.
Congratulations. That's exciting. Did we report that?
I mean, I plan to go longer. I'm like, what else am I going to do? There are some things I could do. But no, the reason that I'm in college swimming, there's a reason I'm here. It's like you said, it's kind of the new frontier for me. I didn't get enough time in Michigan to really explore it fully. And now we're getting a chance to do that. And we're having some success. And, we've had a number of things that got in our way, which is the way it happens all the time in anything. But I'm not going to build this thing up and just not enjoy it.
It's well, I mean, when I think about, I imagine the lifestyle. I don't want to dump on Ann Arbor. I think that Ann Arbor is a really cool town, and I spend a lot of time competing there. My buddy Mike Berriman, my roommate on trips, we were always up in Ann Arbor. It's a great college town. Sure. I imagine the lifestyle where you are might be a little bit better in terms of weather.
In terms of weather, it's definitely different, and it's pretty good. I'll say that. I have the utmost respect for Michigan. It's an honor to even have your name associated with that place. So I can't say anything bad about Ann Arbor.
You keep your
but
life
here. It's like, you don't ever put a coat on. That's a good thing.
I don't want to pry into your personal life, but I know that it seems to me like you have a full life outside of the pool. Mm-hmm. And it looks like a good life and a fun life. And I don't know that I can say that about all college coaches at big D1 programs. Is that something you've been able to lean into during this period of time? How have you been personally? We didn't cover this when we did the Butterfly Clinic podcast, but let's get into just you. How have you done during this period?
I've done really well. It started out, actually when it first started, I thought, this is awesome, man. I haven't had a whole day that I can just decide what I'm going to do in forever. But, there have been some blessings from this. Like, I've been able to go over and, my quarantine is my house and Michael's house. So my little pod or whatever that is. So I've been over there every day from about 3 o'clock until after dinner time and get to hang with those little guys. So that's just been an absolute blessing every day. Whereas in a normal summer, I would be gone this whole summer. So that's been really good. I've been swimming. We can't swim here, but up at the JCC, I can swim every day. So I go 6 days a week, get in 2,000. And I told you last time I started my yoga. I'm still doing that. Trying to learn the basics, right?
Well, last time you had that shaven head the last time we saw you, I was like, whoa, this is a different look. I've never seen that before.
I'm going to keep doing it, but you know what happened? This is like a kind of a dumb thing, but so I'm up there swimming. I swim at 5 a.m., so it's dark. And one day I got in and I'm swimming, and I cannot stand to just swim freestyle. Instead, I know I have people do that a lot, but I just don't like to go up and down freestyle forever. So I do backstroke a lot of breaths. And I did backstroke, and they have forgotten to put the flags up on one side of the pool, so I cut the back of my head when I hit the pool. So I don't want to shave it until that's kind of cleared up. It's almost cleared up, but I think I'll go back to the shave now.
Bob Bowman had a head injury, swimming, backstroke.
Somehow I survived.
That's a SwimSwam exclusive. That's how we're going to title this podcast. We're not even going to talk about.
Maybe it was the concussion that caused all this. I don't know. It wasn't a concussion. I'm thinking clearly.
Tillman, you want to jump in here? Or do I just keep him the whole time?
I mean, I think we've covered the basics on this topic. I think Bob is very forthcoming, and I think we're good.
To be honest, this is like a really unique situation for our program. Not all programs can do it. And it's not a perfect thing for us either. There are things we have to work out, and, there are little things we have to do. But when you look at the overwhelming good for the most number of our student athletes, this is where we're going. So, it wasn't taken lightly.
I should know this. I think your program's endowed, or to a degree. Is that something that, have we reported that? What's the financial situation? It's lightly endowed, not the majority of scholarships, but some, and we're working on trying to get more. Yeah. And that really brings back to the emotional thing, and college swimming almost being like a religion in our community, and it looks like that's what it's going to have to be going forward. Otherwise, our sport at the collegiate level is always going to be in this game of we always feel like we're in jeopardy. We're right. Seeing it with small programs. We're seeing it with big programs. And we just, Stanford, they cut 11 they're not doing 11 non-traditional sports. But
some are wrestling.
But they had, but Greg came on the podcast with Coleman, and it was like, hey, we're swimming. Just wanted us to know we're swimming.
Yeah. And
they've got support. Is this something that's that you're actively involved in terms of further solidifying the program being endowed?
We have tremendous support for our program, and I'm just blessed to be here at ASU. We've all kind of pitched in and tried to cut our budgets to help, get us through this. But there's never been any talk of anything major. And the only thing we're talking about is how we're going to be better after this. And that's really what got me thinking about this. Ray had a meeting. The first meeting we had in COVID with the head coaches, Ray Anderson, our athletic director, said, I want you to get creative and think of ways that your team can be better coming out of COVID than you were before. And that's what this is. That's how it spurred me on to start thinking about this. So this is our best chance at that.
Have you seen other coaches do things that you thought were interesting? I mean, obviously, you know, this is a one of a kind, or the first of its kind decision. But you know, have other ASU coaches that you've observed done interesting things in while pursuing that goal?
Not yet, but they're thinking about it.
Okay.
It's definitely out there, and I'm not the only coach that has thought about this. I had some people reach out after we announced that, hey, we've been thinking about this for a while. They just didn't pull the trigger on it.
Mm-hmm. I've heard from coaches. I've heard from coaches, and they all said the same thing. Smart, right? It's a right move for his program, but it made them feel suddenly pretty nervous about what was going to happen the next year, because they're hoping against hope that we can have some kind of a season.
Okay, you know what I thought about today on my swim, and I don't even know how I got onto this, but I was thinking about whether there'll be a season or not, right? Have any of you ever been at NC2As? Let's say you're at NC2As, and it's the men's 4x100 relay or any of the relays. Or women's, either one. It doesn't have anything to do with that part. You ever been behind the blocks during those things? What's everybody doing? It's more heavy breathing by so many people within 3 feet of each other, 2 feet, than you can possibly imagine. How's that all stop? Like, how do you not have that?
Did not think about that. Have not thought about that.
That's what they're going to have to answer. So how do you make that stuff not happen, or how do you protect from that? They're going to put a mask on as soon as they get out. I just don't know how that works. So anyway, that just came to me today. I was like, how do you get around that?
We threw a lot at you. We're bouncing all over the place, and I apologize, but I did want to get a lot of the. I don't want to call them dumb questions, but people have a lot of questions they want to know.
No, I understand.
We're down to 6 minutes.
Yep.
And now we're going to ask you the easy questions. Will there be an Olympics next year?
I hope so. Can't say nobody can.
I bounce all that. Some days I'm like 80% chance yes, 20% no. Other days I'm like, I flip it.
Yeah, it could be a flip. It could be a push.
It depends on how I feel that day.
Yeah.
But that is, you're right. Nobody has answers right now. Yeah. And the situation, I think everyone felt like we would be seeing some positive numbers by now. The only thing I can say is we are seeing a death rate decline, even though it is coming up with the infection rate. It's not as dramatic, and it looks like we're getting a handle on how to deal with this. So if you are hit hard, your chances of survival are higher.
Right.
My concern with football, and I don't know if everybody's thinking about this in the back of their head, because certainly coaches at the D1 level who are feeling insecure, like, hey, if there's no football season, we're gonna domino fast. I look at football players at the D1 level and think one of those guys has compromised health, and if one guy dies, what happens?
Yeah, that's tough, real tough.
Yeah, it's very tough. But yeah, is there anything that we haven't covered? They're like, you guys should have talked about this.
I think we've hit all the main points.
No. We're under 5 minutes. We can talk about Michael Phelps' HBO documentary.
That would be good. Very powerful.
Have you screened it?
Yeah. Well, I've seen the cuts leading up to it. I haven't seen the final cut, but I think I've seen everything that's going to be in there.
Is that the way it works? If you ever make a movie, you always get a screener?
I would hope. I don't know. But, it's a very powerful thing. And it's, I've been advocating for some kind of post-Olympic counseling, debriefing since 2008 probably, right? Because I've seen up close what happens after those, and it's you think about an Olympic athlete, so much time goes into the preparation. And the very nature of it is you have to focus on today, right? We're telling them all the time, don't worry about tomorrow, only right now, what's right in front of you. Then you get to the meet and you're doing exactly that. Then they get to the end and it's either great, they did well, or bad, maybe they didn't do as well. But anyway, there's the end, and there hasn't really been any thought about what comes next. And then all the coaches like me take the first flight out of there because we can't take any anymore. It's just like, oh my God, I've got to get out of here. Then they start going to make their money or do whatever they do. And there's just this sort of, a complete focus. Then there's nothing. And there's got to be something to fill that. And that's what this addresses, I think. It's just the way it's done, I think it'll reach a lot of people and it'll address something that really needs to be taken care of.
We've reported on it a few times, and we've got sent the screeners as a courtesy, as a media outlet. I didn't watch it because I want to watch it on TV. I'm a big HBO fan. Sure. But when I saw the trailers for it, my first thought was, I looked at my wife, who's a co-founder of SwimSwam. I'm like, hey, imagine going from all of that training to nothing. It has to, that alone changes your brain chemically. Sure. And with knowing all of our peers, everybody talks about it. They whisper about it behind the scenes. They're like, yeah, my majority of people go through a period of depression, without a doubt.
Well, I think what's different now is the top guys, like in Michael's case, right? I always felt so sorry for him right after the Olympics because he literally went from the last race into the next phase, which went for months. There was not even like a night to take a breath. So it's a tough thing. And then you kind of get into, well, that's the opportunity he's going to have. So you have to take advantage of it. But there has to be something that goes on to support these athletes during the process that carries over after.
And something I hope I hope it's well received. I think it will be, even in the current context of what's happening politically and in the world. And I think it's most important to frame it this way: when it comes to pain, there is no pain Olympics, especially with mental health. If people are suffering, people are suffering.
Exactly.
Bob, thank you so much for coming on and talking about this very interesting decision that is best for your program and answering our questions. Will you come back?
Absolutely. I love it with you guys. You're easy. All your questions are easy.
We're down to like 30 seconds. You got a parting thought for us?
No, everybody just be well, wear a mask, social distance, do all those things, and then we'll be a lot better off.
You've been listening to the SwimSwam podcast. Stay tuned for new episodes every week. You can take SwimSwam podcast on the go by subscribing on your favorite podcast platform. Look for links in the description below, and be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel for more videos as well.